Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Carbon Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play The Ladder. In the last episode, we were about to die as Ashton Frey. But no. As the Johans, the butler, was putting his towel or piece of fabric cloth around our neck and slowly removing our from this earthly realms, Isabella storms in with a taser and shocks the perpetrator. And apparently we are not the first guy he has attempted to kill. So we will see just how bad the butler really is. In a minute now. I think. Let's see if he has anything, if he can do anything about this ghost though. Let's go. The next thing I know, the towel strangling me has started to loosen. I collapse on the floor, dazed and gasping for air. From my peripheral, through the haze of blood rushing and sound slowly filtering back, the butler buckles. He spasms once. Then, without much fuss, falls face first beside me, knocked unconscious by 50,000 volts of electricity in a fucking rolling pin. He'll be out for a while. I have no idea whether I should laugh or cry at that. Somewhere in front of me, my oxygen-deprived brain vaguely registers Isabella's form. She slumps on the floor, also breathing heavily. Right next to her trembling hands, both the taser and the rolling pin lie useless and forgotten, while the mood in the room eases. A long, gradual process of the tensions lifting. For countless seconds we remain quiet, with only our short gaps and sighs to fill the silence, allowing the adrenaline ebb away and both of our breathing to slow. Not a true repose by any means, but simply a brief respite. There's still the curse, we're still inside the mansion and in imminent danger, we still have no idea how to fix this. Outside the rain seems to only intensify, lightning flashes fleetingly somewhere, white and piercing and the sky rumbles. No rest for the wicked. I stir first, once recovered, having regained some semblance of sense and strength. Breathing still hurts, but it's bearable, as is moving. Although every small motion causes a wince, there will be bruising tomorrow. I can manage. Retrieving my gun from under the bed is easy. But only with some effort, I am able to drag an unconscious man to the far end of the room, snapping one end of the handcuff on the wrist, while fastening the other on the bed frame. That should keep him restrained for a few hours, in case he wakes up prematurely. All through this, Isabella stays quiet. In fact, she hasn't even moved since. Her hands still shake and taking in long draws of breath while she stares vacantly in front of her, almost as if she is in shock. Perhaps she isn't even expecting any result, spurred only by some kind of desperation. Now it's sinking in. Unfortunately, we need to get moving. We don't have time to wait for everything to register in our heads. Kneeling in front of her, I give her a light shake.
Belle, we need to go. We can't stay here.
Slowly she turns, staring at me with wide eyes. Worry flickers briefly and then along with something ineffable. Then without warning she lifts a hand and slaps me right across the face. Ooh! That is some murder in her eyes. And look at this. I mean, I've had just a few issues with this game so far, but the art is not one of them. Damn, this is gorgeous. The sound of it cracks the air, shattering the silence like a fragile glass breaking. Despite the familiar rumble of thunder outside, it manages to ring louder above the storm. I don't even know what hit me, until my head has already snapped back and my cheek stings with her anger. And it is anger. In spite of the stillness and the lack of words afterwards. Not fuming though. Never fuming. But the kind that burns lightly and soundlessly. A frustration instead of seething rage. One that ebbs just as quickly as it flows, and once the tide subsides there's only that gleam in her eyes. Warm, steadfast and unflinching. Quietly, I brace myself for the truth underneath that gaze. It slips from her lips, softly, nearly fading under the sound of the rain still falling fast, if not for the weight in each of her words.
What is wrong with you?
Belle,
If your bartender friend hadn't slipped up, no one would have known where you went.
Wait, didn't we tell her that we went to the mansion? What?
Belle, one person knowing is enough. Any more than that, and...
You almost died! He could have suffocated you right then and there, and you could have died. And by the time anyone ever finds out, you're already fertilizer!
She trails off, drags one indrawn breath after another. A brief lull as her frustration finally gives, dissolving into something more pensive and somber. Her shoulders droop and through her voice rises hoarse and weary. In her next words, there's only certainty.
You count too, you know? When I said that night, when I told you that I don't want to lose anyone anymore, that includes you. Alive. I'm still here, Ash. You have me.
And once their meaning fall, roar, it does so with the force of a dam breaking of a raging storm, but with a gentle, steady warmth and of a hearth burning, an ember easing slowly, lightly, rising and giving, until all that's left is a truth, an understanding. Not alone. Never alone. It lingers, even as we both drift back into silence and her words take root, because in the gratitude that swells after, is another warmth blooming. Let's see what we learned here. So I didn't go right away because, as always, when you start up the game, the journal updates again with the old journal entry. So this is what we had in the last episode. And now, here. Having recovered, Ashton quickly urged Isabella to move, knowing it wasn't safe to stay idle. Without warning, however, Isabella slapped him, furious at him for keeping people in the dark. She reminded him of what was important, and with it came a realization about himself. Pleasant, welcoming, like finding home, like finding ourselves in the haze a squall has left, creating something fragile, yet immutable in both of us. It's in her eyes, in the way she holds my gaze unwavering, in the way she carries herself despite sitting amidst a place she fears, in the way she keeps herself from trembling and falling apart because fear is inconsequential when people she cares about are at risk. A change. She realizes that now, holds on to it. Another little thing, another small thing from her that may go unnoticed and pass by quietly, but it will eventually amount to a lot of things. Tiny gestures that means nothing at first, but began to matter to me within one day until... Oh, despite myself, a small smile slips from my lips as the same warmth from earlier unfurls in my chest. Unhurried, familiar, and bright from all these years I've carried it, but have never given the words for it.
Stop smiling like that, Ashton! I'm not done scolding you!
But this time they come easy.
I heard all of it, don't worry.
Are you really okay? That guy hit you a little too hard on the head. Here, let me...
I reach up just as she extends her hands towards my face, catching her wrist in a light grip, drawing it closer and folding her hand in between mine. Although her expression does shift into mild confusion, she does not pull away like I'm expecting. She simply stares at me, searching. For her to allow a gesture from me that's perhaps too close, it tells a lot of how far things have already shifted in the past few years. Cradled in mine, her hand still trembles. Most of the tremors have already subsided by now, though I doubt they'll fade away this soon. Even as I trace the lines of her palm in what I hope is a comforting gesture.
I'm sorry, Belle.
For what? Is this about what happened tonight? You can apologize later, when...
No, well, this too, but it's not just about this. It's for...
Wow, what the hell? That was very loud.
It's for a lot of things. For calling you clumsy. And careless.
And scaredy cats.
And a scatterbrain.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure this isn't a concussion?
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Well, you don't usually apologize.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that too. For all the times I've teased you and made you cry.
Unexpectedly, her fingers tighten around mine, our hands falling between us as something tender shifts in air. Another exhale. Another drawn breath eases out of me, filled with every hesitation and uncertainties. But when I finally choose to break silence, it's only when I know that what will slip past my mouth is that one truth I will hold against the world.
But for all those callous words, despite all those, there's nothing that I don't love about you.
Oh, is that it? How is Isabella going to respond to this? Now, let's check here. She likes him. But how much is the question?
In fact, those things, I love those.
It's really off-putting that his voice is so loud in my ears.
And everything. Everything that's you.
For a long moment, she offers no response. Her grip on my hands merely tightens. Although my heart's pounding hard against my ears, I take another chance and look up, slightly leaning away and giving her a cautious glance, more than ready to hear her rejection. And it is one, despite the smile on her face. If it can even be called one, of course. There's a pained aspect to it I can hardly name. Regardless of what it means to her or what she intends to convey with it, the sight of it alone makes me regret ever mentioning anything. It's almost as if she is forcing herself to push out the next words out of her mouth for the sake of not hurting me. Not that I won't be able to take it, but if these feelings will only put a heavier burden on her, I'd rather not have said anything at all. As expected, with one last squeeze at the hand cradling hers, she pulls her hand away from mine. When she speaks, though, there's a stark refusal to meet my eyes. Not that I hold it against her. The situation is already awkward as it is.
Ash...
She pauses, biting her lower lip. A small frown forms between her eyebrows while she struggles to find the right phrases to string together.
Ashton, I'm really sorry.
Oh, no, it's cool. I was already expecting that, kind of. But you don't have to...
No, I mean, I can't. I can't afford to think of anything other than helping my family. Especially now that Papa's gone.
What is up with the sound in this episode? First it was very even, whoop, and then they increased the volume when Ash was talking so much it almost hurt my eyes, and now I can barely hear Isabella.
They're going to need me more than ever, Ash.
And now it's normal again.
I'm sorry. I really can't. Not right now.
Oh. The sad, soft music. I've always known it would lead to this, to some extent. Her family will always come first. We might take that from her. It hurts, of course, but the pain eases, knowing that in spite of circumstances, her heart will always be in the right place. And she's still the same woman I've fallen in love with.
It's alright, Belle. Don't apologize. If it still matters, that's actually what I love about you. Of course, not that I'm expecting anything by telling you that, but you get the point. Yeah.
Thanks, Ash. I mean, thank you for loving me. Even after everything.
Her response is a smile and a soft laughter, perhaps the sweetest I've seen and heard from her. Yes, from it, I know nothing will change despite her answer and her lingering feelings that will come from this. And there will be. Lingering feelings, that is. With the way she barged into our lives 5 years ago, it'll probably be enough to leave a terrible impression on anyone, but that's also precisely it. It's people like her that you don't easily forget. It's them that gradually worms their way into a person's life until the very thought of losing them becomes unbearable. As it is, I'm already content simply staying by her. No grand expectations or hopes attached. Just the banter, the small smiles and the quiet little moments that roar. I love her. But that also isn't all there is to us.
I know I caused you all kinds of trouble these past few years.
Hey, whoever told you I'm doing this for free?
Oh!
After we're done with this curse thing, you're gonna owe me a year's supply of ice cream.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's nice. I play a lot of AVNs on this channel as well. And this has only happened once so far, I think, with Nora in College Kings. That even if there's not going to be anything romantic between the main character MC and that love interest, they can still remain friends. That is a nice thing to say. The whole idea that if you deny me, we cannot stay friends anymore. Yeah, of course it's gonna hurt, but it's less painful to still have them in your life. You don't have to be romantically involved to enjoy their company, you know. So this is nice. I like this. Another laughter, this time from both of us. Then she hits my arm with a light punch. Familiar, warm, bright and hopeful, much like everything about her. And it is strength enough to keep me going as I lead us both out. Now let's check in on the journal. As I said, there's a lot of updates here. Here we go. Having recovered, Ashton quickly urges Isabella to move, and knowing it wasn't safe to stay idle. Without warning, however, Isabella slapped him. Furious at him for keeping people in the dark, she reminded him of what it was important. Wait, no, that was what I... There we go, here we go. Jeez. Understanding how much she also meant to him, Ashton took both her hands and in his and apologized. And in a rare moment of honesty, confessed how he truly felt for her. However, although thankful, Isabella was unable to return his feeling and turned him down. Oh yeah, you can... This is something that can change. You can tell that by how specific they are. This can change. They can end up being a couple. I don't want it though. I don't really care for Ashton. Isabella deserves someone better, I think. Yeah, so does Rebecca. Oh, no. Oh! Power still hasn't come back when we make our way downstairs. Tricky, considering the stairs to the attic are a bit old. One misstep and anyone might end up slipping and falling. You're lucky if that's all that's happened to you. With the stairs this steep, a broken neck is a likely outcome. Thankfully, Isabella's here to guide me through the darkness. She knows this place better than anyone. After all, in spite of all the misfortune it has brought to us.
Careful, the floorboards over there aren't very sturdy.
Right on cue, the same board I'm stepping on creaks and suddenly breaks. The pieces falling somewhere with a dull thunk.
Oh shit. Scumbag wouldn't be too happy about that. Ow, foot.
Ow, your neck.
See? I told you so. You never listened to me.
They renovated the whole mansion. They can't even replace one tiny part of the house.
Why don't you file a complaint to BRC then?
Ooh.
I'm sure they'd be thrilled to hear it. You know it was such a rush job.
Yeah, and they're already going bankrupt, so that would probably put them 6 feet under. Outside, the winds have intensified. Even from here, I can hear the gusts battering the window in the attic. It makes you wonder why, up until now, the only person we've encountered from this house is a butler. Although, to some degree, that makes sense. He is in charge of running the place. Where are the other servants, though? In this storm, wouldn't anyone want to stay inside? A likely assumption is they're all asleep. The route I've taken doesn't really pass by the rooms that they've likely assigned as the servants' quarters. However, they have also heightened security. I brushed it off earlier, thinking they'd be posting a lot closer to where the master's room are. But the second floor is devoid of anyone as well. As if every inhabitant of this place has suddenly disappeared overnight. More importantly, where's that scumbag? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The fact that we're here right in the fucking middle of it makes me all the more queasy. And the feeling only escalates once we reach the landing and Isabella swings the door open. Still midnight, huh? She pauses abruptly right in the doorway that I almost run into her. A look of confusion in her as she looks wildly around the place, wordlessly taking in the surroundings. With each turn and shift of her eyes, her shoulder only grows tenser and a look of apprehension slowly dawns on her.
Isabella, what are you...
We aren't supposed to be here.
Sure enough, when I look up, we're standing right in the kitchen, pots, pans and all. In one corner, McCullough watches almost as surprised to see us. Of course, she didn't listen to me even when I've already exceeded the 15 minutes we've agreed on. Although color and strength seems to have already returned to her, enough for her to be able to stand unassisted. The empty plate on the counter appears to have played a part on that. Good news, I guess. As for our current predicament...
We were just in the attic, right? That door was supposed to open to a hallway.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
The second floor hallway.
Without warning, the door behind us slams shut. Ooh! What's going to happen? All three of us exchange a look. One that I absolutely don't like.
We need to get out of here.
Screw right. I need to get these people out of here. Lucky we're in the kitchen, we have two ways out. The back door and the cellar offers. Except the hatch won't budge when I pull it at it, and neither does the back door. As if something has locked it firmly on the other side. Isabella also gives it a few tries, but even then, it won't open. So we're gonna fight off a ghost here now, I think. Empty my lungs so I don't choke on myself. It's a long bout of silence in which we simply look at each other, likely sharing the same thoughts. We're trapped. Something or someone has intentionally led us here. Fuck! In the same moment once the realization dawns in, something shifts again. Blood. In every nook and cranny, over every surface and in every inch of the floor. Together, Ash and Isabella carefully made their way downstairs. That's what I'm talking about. However, instead of a hallway, okay, the kitchen greeted them instead. Before they could understand what was happening, it slammed shut behind them and the whole mansion had started to shift. This time, unlike the first one I've seen, it remains, and gradually the whole room began to reek of the familiar metallic scent. Sharp, suffocating. Around us, every object, including the cupboards, have started to rattle as well. The sounds from outside, foreboding rumble of thunder, and even the howling winds have begun to fade away, replaced by whispers, shouts, and cries of pain. Though inaudible, each beaten note bombards every crevice my head with vague images and sounds. There's no time to make sense of everything, however. I'm already shouting, fueled purely by adrenaline, barking orders and making a break for the door that leads to the next room, the dining. It should take us straight to the foyer, where the main door is.
Move! Run!
Right in front of us, the mansion has started to change and we're in the thick of it. However, instead of the dining room like we're supposed to open to... the bedroom welcomes us instead. An image that lasts only about a second before blood begins to seep into the room. Filtering into the walls, trickling from every nook and cranny everywhere, furniture shakes and every beam rattles. Before we even can step back from the horror gradually unfolding in front of us, the door slams shut. A loud thud. Oh dude, I didn't see it right away, but the blood is oozing up here. It's smoke, blood smoke. That's nasty. I just saw it in the peripheral. That was scary as shit. A loud thud bringing a sense of dread and chill creeping up in each of us. Along with it is another realization. The whole place is reordering itself. and with the door closed tight behind us, showing no signs of budging, even through sheer force. There's no choice but to go forward and hope to all gods that they'll lead us to an exit. Until then, running the only thing we can do. Spurred by nothing but fear and a sense of desperation to live.
It's useless, Ashton Frey.
But with each room we pass, it only becomes apparent that the house has no intention of letting us leave. It lured us all here and we've fallen for it. Now it's playing a little game with us. A sordid form of amusement. For whom? The laughters are the only thing we can hear. With every hall we cross and door we slide open, the hope of finding an exit merely dwindles. The gun at my hip is useless here. I am useless here. Some fucking genius I am. Some fucking person to trust I am. Although those, they mean nothing in the face of the unknown.
You finally figured it out. Huh, Ashton Frey. Just give it up. She will eventually die because of you.
Oh, you bastard. You better leave Isabella out of this.
And you are going to die alone.
Shut your fucking mouth.
You know it's true though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
The more gruesome the place turns, the bleaker our chances simply get. Wails and screams fill our ears as we pass by, words from a time and people long gone, laced with nothing but pure agony, calling out, reaching out to us. Their voices almost too real, as if we're not the only ones trapped here, that there are others begging for release from this wretched place. Or maybe it's all just a show, a taste of what we will eventually be, souls forever held captive in a never-ending nightmare. She's laughing now. She was sad in the attic. She sacrificed a bunch of people, hoping to see her mother again. But then she killed the wrong person. A Japanese, I think they said that, a Japanese slave who happens to be a witch that cursed this place. You were looking for power, but power consumed you, in a sense.
She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Is this what the curse is? What it means for all of us? That the letter is not a morbid cry for help, but an invitation? A beckoning for unsuspecting souls to be dragged into this place's horrors? To be put under centuries and centuries of torment and agony? Suddenly, dying a painful death seems preferable. Enticing than ending up here, living a tortured existence. Or perhaps it's all the same. Still, hope worms its way into me, not a usual thing for someone like me. But after going through countless doors and corridors, every little sign of hope I'm willing to cling to, as long as it'll get us out of here. We're back in the dining room again. How long have we been running? How long since we've left the kitchen? At some point, I lost track of time. With the windows barred tight and the sounds lifting in the air, nothing but shouts and shrieks is impossible to tell. Not that it matters when an end is in sight. Shelves and furnishings bar the door, each stained with blood and gore, that if the situation isn't as desperate as it is, I'll find a different way out. Question is this the ghost barricading us in here, or is this Luke and Hannah barricading something out of wherever they are? But there's still a gap left at the utmost part of the for a person to go through, as long as you use the shelves to climb.
It's an exit, all right.
From here I can spy the familiar walls of the foyer. Relief. Only relief washes over me. Although my legs have been strained taut by all the running, and every bone and muscle in my body ache, it's only an easing. A sense of tension relieving while energy backflows through me again at the sight of an end. No sooner, I'm leading us out of it. Isabella helps Makalo first, assisting her up through the gap. The moment the interior designer is in, I nod for her to go through.
Go ahead. I'll watch your back.
Surprisingly, she follows without any protests. Not that there is any need to. Sometime after entering this room, the whole place has calmed down. No wails, no whispers, just a silence too deafening. But I'm not letting my guard down until everyone's on the other side of this nightmare, safe. For all I know, this may just be a calm before another storm. Without further incident, however, Isabella makes it to the other side and I'm following after her. However odd this hush is, I turn my back from it and climb up. It's a tight fit, but I manage to squeeze myself in. The unease remains though. Maybe it's the adrenaline still coursing through me, or how easy everything has been after living through that nightmare, fleeting as it is. But for some reason, something's still nagging at me. Call it a detective's instinct or my training or whatnot, I have a feeling something's going to happen and catch us unprepared. Unconsciously, before dropping down on the better side of this stream, my hand shifts to the gun at my hip. Instinct has never failed me before. My feet haven't even landed firmly on the floor when...
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two.
Okay, so this is very weird that Scumbag is here and he doesn't have any worry in his voice. He's not scared or anything. He's just Luke fucking right. Question is, does he know what's going on? Is he somehow behind all this? I don't believe so. But his ability to not be afraid at this very moment, sure there's no blood and shit going on right now, but it's still, he should have seen something by now, I feel like. And if he's seen it or not, is something we will find out in the next episode. Thank you for watching so far, and if you want to watch anything, and if you want to watch the rest of this gameplay, you have to come back in the future. And remember, just because you are not the main character, it doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.